What's going on, everybody? It's the Hook Cam back again with another film preview. Today we're taking a look at the AFC Championship game, Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs. If you can't tell by the name of the video, I believe that the Chiefs are going to win this football game. It's not just because a lot of my subscribers are Chiefs fans. Love you guys. I actually believe that the Chiefs are going to out-scheme the Bills. I saw some stuff from their Week 6 game that raised some flags for me in terms of, where their head is at in scheming Patrick Mahomes. I think that's going to come into the light more on Sunday. We'll see what my predictions lie, and I'll get into all of that in just a second. Before I do hop into this video, if you could hit that like button, hit that subscribe button to my channel, The Hook Cam, as well as to Jackson Kruger Sports. That would mean the world to both of us. And then as well, one more plug I have to make. My music guy, Max Keys, he does my background music. If there's any YouTubers out there who need background music, by the way, he's the dude to go to. Outstanding, custom-made beats, all that stuff. You don't have to worry about copyright or any of that. He's the man. I'll plug his stuff in the description below. Now, let's dive into this game against the Buffalo Bills for the Kansas City Chiefs. The first time they played was Week 6. And I understand that these teams are different now, 100% agree. But at the end of the day, they're still very good football teams. And a lot of times these great teams don't change a lot as they go throughout the season. And judging off of what I've seen from the Bills, they really haven't changed that much. So I'm using a lot of what they played in that first game in Week 6. And one thing the Chiefs did is they ran the ball very well. It wasn't like Clyde had, 150 yards rushing, but he was effective on the ground, and that's what's important. And how he was effective on the ground, I think, is more important. So the Chiefs obviously use a ton of pre-snap motion to get guys moving in different ways, right? Get those backers moving back and forth. But they hammered the rock with their inside zone, wide zone early in this game. And to be honest, what they did that I thought was really cool is they just created double teams. That's the easiest way to get guys going on the ground, right? 2 double teams right here. And the biggest thing when you are playing the Buffalo Bills is number 49 right here, Tremaine Edmonds, I believe his name is. If I'm getting that wrong, I'm sorry. Edmonds, I know for sure is his last name. These 2 double teams getting these 2 cats moves, that's the biggest thing, right? We got great movement here, great movement here. We're whamming on the backside with a little inside zone and let Clyde go. But what you're doing is you're creating that hesitation pre-snap, right? That's the biggest thing, and that's why I bring up 49 with this. You have to target him as an offensive lineman, and you have to make him think as an offensive coordinator. So we bring him this jet sweep, right? And all that's doing is it's getting his feet moving, making him think, right? Now we hand this ball off. That ball's already coming towards the line of scrimmage. We're working upfield, and it gives our offensive lineman a chance to get a hat on a hat right here, which he does. Clyde makes a good move. We're up the field. I believe it was like 9 or 10 yard gain, right? That's the stuff you like to see. Now, getting into a little bit of the Bills' coverage and how that affects the running game, okay? What we're going to see here, and again, this is the dude I look for when I see how the Chiefs are running the football, just to see kind of how they're trying to scheme him up. How can we get him off his game a little bit? The Bills are in man coverage right now. What the Chiefs do is they run, to me, what looks like wide zone or outside zone, whatever you want to call it. Yes, they're 2 different things, but just for the sake of this, whatever you want to call it. They're going to wham this guy across the line of scrimmage. That's what I call that motion. It's also called sift. It's called a number of things, but I call it wham, so I'm going to stick with that. He's going to work across the line of scrimmage, right like this, right? Across the formation, right like that. Tremaine Edmonds is going to follow him because he's in man coverage, okay? So if you can catch these guys in man coverage when you're running these sort of plays, you're going to move this dude away from the football. And watch what happens. We move him away. He's completely out of the picture now, and we hammer this thing right into that C gap, right outside the tackle, and we're up the field for a massive gain. If you can catch these guys and stuff like that, and I'm going to show you guys why I think that the Chiefs know exactly what they're going to do, because this is one of the things the Bills didn't do a great job of. They didn't do a great job of mixing up their coverages throughout downs during the game. It was a lot of the same thing that we saw from the Bills in that last game. I'll get into that in a second, though. Just like I said, if you can get this dude moving pre-snap, we get him moving away from the football. It makes it an easier block for our boys upfield. We get a hat on 49. We're up the field for a big gain with Clyde, right? So the Chiefs did a really good job in working their zone game, working this pre-snap motion, confusing Bills defenders, right? The other thing that I think they did very well, once again, we see our 2 double teams right here, is putting these ends in a bind. Okay, so what we do with this with the Chiefs, right, is we give this defensive end almost like an RPO look. See how we turn to face him right there? When we do that, he now has to stop and think, right? He has to stop and think, because it's going to be one of a couple of things. Pat can still keep the ball and work this way and then throw this rock off to the flat. He's done that before. But at the end of the day, you get him to chop his feet, and now it's a much more difficult angle to go. right? Really the only way that you're going to be able to defend this is if you tell him, hey, you have the back every single time. We have somebody out here for Pat, and then we have another guy coming down here for this tight end that's working down the field. But once again, with this running play, what do we get up front? We get our 2 double teams. We're happy about that. We make 49 think a little bit, and we end up getting a hat on him as well. Okay, see how he works across the formation? I just noticed this as well. See how he ends up working across the formation, because that's where it looks like this ball's going. The Chiefs are run this RPO so much that he sees this and he's trying to fly to the football over here right now. Well, we get him across where the ball was, and we get Clyde a nice gain. They do a really, really good job of that. Now, the other thing that I think the Chiefs do an outstanding job of is when they get teams in their nickel defense with just 2 backers in the box, they do a really good job of outmaneuvering them with their numbers. Okay, so the Chiefs are just going to run a really simple wide zone on this, and they're going to lead Travis Kelce up onto this play side linebacker right here. They work him here, they work him here, and I believe these 2 are working to this backside backer right here. But this is just nice and easy, man. And this is the thing that you can do. And, I made a video about this earlier, why people think nickel defense is the new base. Why I don't think that is because you open up your defense so much to this running game when you do. I mean, and I speak bad about Travis Kelce sometimes when it comes to run blocking. That's outstanding, baby. Throw that cut block, get 54 on the ground. That's a great job. You see what I'm talking about, though? They're utilizing their numbers. They're working against that Bills defense in ways that they really can't account for, especially when they go into that nickel defense. And it's the same sort of thing with this right here, right? And the way you get teams in their nickel, you have to match personnel, right? You have to give them a personnel that they're going to match with their nickel. The Chiefs operate almost solely out of 11 personnel. Yeah, they'll bring 12 personnel in as well sometimes, but once again, we're in that nickel defense. We catch him in man again on this, right? He's working out here. I wouldn't say that it's not like he's going to run, deep downfield with Tyreek. He's going to have safety help, but you get what I'm saying, right? He's working out to Tyreek. Once again, we get our center working here, working out. Clyde works upfield. Really good job putting his foot in the ground, getting upfield, and picking up some really good yardage. We can see how the Chiefs are kind of outmaneuvering and out scheming the Bills when it comes to that. And then on top of that, this is just a beautifully run power from the Kansas City Chiefs. So we get our 2 double teams right here and right here. These 2 are working to this backside backer. We pull for this play side backer right here. I mean, this is the Lord's play. This is how you draw it up. Outstanding job. They actually didn't double team on this end, by the way. I thought they did. They actually do a cute little cross block right here. That's outstanding, by the way, by 48. Boom, working right there. Die slow. Travis Kelce works up. Great job blocking right there. And again, you mix up your schemes now, right? We're running a little gap scheme, little zone scheme. Don't know what's coming for the Bills. Do a really good job of mixing all of that stuff up. And then once again, with that pre-snap motion, it's the exact same play that we saw in the beginning of the game, right? We move that pre-snap motion. We get 49 moving. He's chopping his feet, right? He's hesitating. We don't know where that ball's going at yet. Lose Clyde in the mess right there. And then he's working upfield for a nice gain. Now, the other thing that the Chiefs did that I think is going to cause problems for the Buffalo Bills, and we saw it in this Week 6 game, the Bills did not want to get beat deep. They did not want to get beat deep. And all that happened was Patrick Mahomes picked him apart. He was 21 for 26 in this game. He diced up this Bills defense, and it's because they were dropping so much with their corners, right? Mahomes barely threw the rock, over 15, 20 yards like we've seen previous, right? And that's kind of the thing when you play the Chiefs is that everybody's so worried about getting torched for a 40-yard gain. All right, we're willing to sacrifice, that 5 or 6 yard throw, but these receivers are so good in space that a lot of times you're going to end up giving up 8, 9, 10 yards and a first down. So with this situation right here, you can see the Bills do not want to get beat deep. That's why we're bailing pre-snap with our corners, right? We bail out there. 15 sees it. We're going to hammer this quick little curl, that hitch route, get upfield, pick up yards. And we see this consistently throughout this game, right? At the bottom right here. When the Chiefs go 3-by-1 as well, the Bills do this interesting thing with their coverage where they man up this corner and they man up this backer, but they're going to run some sort of cover 3 behind it, right? It's kind of like a bastardized cloud coverage almost, but I'm pretty sure that these 2 cats are manned up. Now, what happens though, we see this dude bail pre-snap, we know that we're going to have this curl right here. And all that happens as a receiver, right, is a lot of times receivers on the outside, they have what's called a choice route, or what I've known to be called a choice route. If this corner's pressed, we're going to take this thing deep. If he's bailing pre-snap, turn this thing into a curl, right? Be a quick option, be an outlet for 15, and that's exactly what happens here. Easy first down. If the Bills continue to do that on first and second down, they're going to get beat. There's not a lot that they're going to be able to do to that, because 15, like, he's too good to sit there and do this stuff. It's not like he's only got this massive arm and he doesn't know how to read coverage. He's going to be able to pick you apart underneath. That's exactly what happens on this play right here. They just turn this curl, they turn this deeper route, who knows what it was going to be, whether it was going to be a streak or a post or a corner post or whatever. But look, as we're working upfield, that corner's bailing. I'm not going to continue to run my route. I'm going to shut this thing down because we have that choice, right? We have that choice route. Quarterback knows about it as well. And like I said, this continued throughout the game when the Chiefs played the Bills. With this right here, right, and the reason why I pointed out the coverage earlier is because something you can do with this, and the Chiefs kind of catch them here because they're not exactly, pressed and manned up in this situation, but we can see that, okay, well, now we're rolling into 3, it looks like to me. But that opens up your screen game, right? Anytime teams are running cover 3, you're going to want to hammer the flats. Bills don't have their flat defender in this situation. They catch them in cover 3. You run a nice little screen. We're out and upfield for a big-time gain. So the Chiefs did a lot of things, I think, to out-scheme the Bills in the last game they played, and I think that we're going to see more of that on Sunday. Now, I know what you're thinking. All right, they ran a ton of zone last time. What happens if they just sit there and run man? Great question. They tried to run man against the Indianapolis Colts, and Phillip Rivers kind of tore them apart, right? Obviously, they didn't win that game, but I look at plays like this, and I can see the Chiefs doing this, right? We're running that run action, getting those backers up and close to the line, and then they run, it looks to me like a little double post here with these two. He ends up throwing to Michael Pittman, and they'll run across the field. But when you run man, especially against these Chiefs receivers, you're opening yourself up to stuff like this. So I don't really think that they're just going to sit in man coverage against Kansas City, unless they think that they're just going to be able to bully those receivers, which I don't believe that. I don't think that the Bills defensive coordinator thinks that, and I don't think that they believe they can do that. That to me is just a recipe for disaster. Anytime teams want to run man against the Chiefs, Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy are going to have a number of things that they can do against you. So offensively, that's why I think the Chiefs are going to beat the Bills on Sunday. I made a defensive breakdown. I'll go ahead and link that in here as well in the little notification thing at the top. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this film breakdown. If you did, if you could hit that like button, hit that subscribe button to my channel, The Hook Cam, as well as at Jackson Kruger Sports, and also checking out my boy Max Keys. I would really, really appreciate all that. So I hope everybody enjoys the game. Make sure we're washing those hands, staying safe, and that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you next time.